Hi, this is Eric with CyberZev, and I'm excited today. I have the 2024 Blazer EV, which I'm going to give you a review of. This is GM's entry into the all-electric SUV market, mid-sized class, and it's a departure from their traditional gas Blazer, being a totally new design vehicle. So with that, let's go ahead and take a walk around the vehicle and show you some of the features of the Blazer EV. Starting from the front of my RS all-wheel drive model, you'll see a full-width light bar, including light-up Chevy badge. The flickering is normal from the camera. That's not visible from the eyes. Below the corner markers, you'll see the headlamps there. And the radar is in the front. Down at the bottom. As we walk around, you'll see the arc that's the fake charge port to match the real charge port on the other side, and you'll notice gloss black painted trim on my model. Some have raw plastic, but this is actually painted black, which is a feature that I like. You'll notice the 21-inch wheels with just road tires on it, as you can see from the tread on them there. They're a high efficiency model tire. And we'll go ahead and continue around here. You'll see cameras on the bottom of the mirror. This is for the 360 view camera system that's included in my car. And you know, your standard door handles with a reach through design and a push button. Around the rear we have some stylized markers that kind of make a triangle type shape. And my package has the black Chevy badges, and all the new EVs have this blue stylized E in their model name. I have an aftermarket tow hitch on mine. If we come down here below the badge, you'll see two cameras here. One is for the electronic rear view mirror and the other is the backup camera. There is a washer included in that for the rear view mirror. And we'll continue around to the charge port here. This is kind of a fancy over-engineered charge port. If I press here, it'll open usually. And then all that did is when you press there, it pushes in on a physical button here to expose the charge port. This is your standard J1772, and then you have your CCS connector, DC chargers connectors there. This plug is kind of annoying and it just hangs there. When you're ready to close it, you press there and it slowly closes. Up on the roof we have a roof rack system that's on this model has these nice gloss black rails and your typical shark fin antenna. With that, we'll hop inside. Stepping into the Blazer EV, the first thing you'll notice is the large 17.7-inch capacitive touchscreen. This is running Automotive OS, which just means that it's like a separate Android device. So you'll log in with your Google account. The car comes with internet connectivity service for a certain number of years. And in here you can do your typical Google things. I will show more on that later. Next up is the steering wheel with radio control, cruise control, and there's buttons on the back to control volume and tracks on the radio, as well as regen braking. There's a wiper control arm and a forward backwards control lever there and park. The instrument cluster is customizable with the button on the steering wheel. We can switch displays. And it's worth noting that for safety reasons, this is not touch sensitive because you wouldn't want to reach through the steering wheel. When we switch over to the climate control, we have these vents here that can rotate like to open and close them. That's closed. This is open, and they can be in between. Or the climate control has buttons to control it, like auto and fan speed control and defroster control, as well as knobs that can be rotated. It's dual climate, so you can configure the left and the right side separately and then sync them if you want with the button there. Most of the controls can also be done on the touch screen right above the manual buttons. Next up, I want to focus on these quick buttons down here. These buttons adjust depending on the context of what you're doing. So if you're driving, they might be different than if you're parked, etc. So the important thing is that there's one for showing a bunch more controls, and like right now I can see my HomeLink garage door opener buttons. You can program these and have up to several of them, and then also change other settings. I mentioned one pedal driving, so like we would change that setting here. If I click on that, you can do one pedal driving high, set level, and you have off, normal, high, and show on home screen. And the important thing here is that this is remembered between drives, which is a great feature in here. You have one pedal driving that stays one pedal driving. You don't have to reset it each time you start the car. Looking at the door controls, we have our standard window controls, mirror control, you can fold the mirrors, and then seat memory controls here, and some other controls down here for controlling lane keeping, setting the parking brake, hold mode, and light brightness levels. Up here, I have the HUD display. In the center console here, I have two cup holders, a wireless phone charger, and a compartment that opens to reveal a large empty, it's like a trash bin, and then there are two high-power USB-C ports right underneath that. And then the center console has this aftermarket sorter that I put in there. It doesn't come with anything from the factory. And down here is a 12-volt, typical car socket outlet. I would recommend acquiring one of these center console organizers, as it allows you some flexibility and stuff you can put inside there. Going over to the door materials, we have soft fabric on the dashboard and some of this nice material right here. I don't know what it is, it's just a textured material. And then soft touch on the door top. And once you get below the armrest level though, it's all hard touch. But like here is soft touch, and then this is a nice textile material here. You can see around the heater vents, there's kind of like a almost resin look. It's kind of metallic. And you have this red and blue stitching throughout in my RS model. And then you'll see more of that kind of plastic carbon fiber there. There is just a little bit of piano black, which is unfortunate. It's already scratched up. And, well, you can see reflections of the stuff there, but I do have little hairline scratches all over it. So that is an unfortunate feature. I can likely replace that with something else. As we move up above, you'll see the electronic rearview mirror here with your OnStar controls up here, as well as cabin lighting. Your sun visor with lights and extension. And the design is such that it closes automatically, which is nice. You have your typical chute handles here. Nice for easy entry into the cabin. Taking a look at the infotainment system, you'll notice the Google Play Store here So here you can download your favorite app for Android Automotive, so including Waze, a Better Route Planner, Spotify, PlugShare, ChargePoint, and some others. As an example, there's weather radar, and you can pull up weather radar information and like wind speed and various others. This is a third-party app, so I just wanted to show you that these are available. It can be a little slow depending on who made the app and things like that. We can go to a general split screen here. Here you'll see that I've averaged 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour over 15,000 miles, if this is to be believed. And you can change your content here on each of these screens. There's some limitations, like this can only be maps, audio, or trip information. Or we can go back to the full screen up here. You can program in these different buttons to be different functions. So like here we have the camera function, where you'll see that there is a 360 view camera here, followed by a forward facing camera. We can switch to the rear view mirrors mode, so this changed to rear. And then we have an overhead for if you're pulling a trailer, you can see the hitch, but there's also a hitch mode here, which just puts the close-up picture of the hitch there. You can look at the side view camera as well, but I mostly use the standard rear or the forward one when you're parking. Important thing to note is you can actually change what icons are up here. So if you don't like the cameras to be up there, you can take them off. And say you like Spotify up there, you can put Spotify up there, which I have done, and you can move them around. So I can find my camera again. I'm going to put that back up there. You can have a total of 8 icons up here, and the first 2 you can't change. You can pair it with Alexa, which I have not done, but you can do some controls through Alexa. Taking a quick look at charging, the Blazer EV offers CCS charging of 150 kilowatts in the all-wheel drive models, or 190 kilowatts in the rear-wheel drive models. The rear-wheel drive models have a different battery pack, so that's why the different rating there. And you can also get a Tesla NACS adapter that allows you to charge at some Tesla superchargers. I find this a lifesaver for the GM because it requires a high charging current, and some of the CCS chargers you go to do not support that high charging current. So all the Tesla NACS chargers will support the full charging current that the Blazer can draw, which is like 500 amps. So this adapter lets you use any of those chargers that are deemed NACS, like open to other EVs. So you want to pick up one of these adapters if you travel on the road a lot and use Tesla superchargers. And again, you have to use the Tesla app or the GM app to see which chargers are compatible. Not all the Tesla superchargers are compatible. Only the newer NACS ones, and they're like called the V3 superchargers or the V4 superchargers, and some of those might still be closed for access. So you want to check in the app to see what's available. I have a bunch of other videos on how to do more detailed use of the infotainment system, like how to program in your nav system to take you to various Tesla superchargers and such. So you'll want to watch those videos if you want more information for that. Coming around to the seating here, you have nice RS in this headrest. This is kind of a suede material with a plasticky vinyl on the back. You have blue and red stitching again. And coming down to the seat, you have a vinyl material around the edge with a textile middle and ventilated seats. So these will blow cool air on you. The front and rear are heated, but only the front are ventilated. And the seat cushion is also comfortable. Coming down here, you have an adjustable lumbar control that can only go 2 different directions there. And then you have your seat back adjustment and then up-down control. So basic controls on the passenger side. On the driver's side, you'll see the same controls, but we have slightly more adjustment. You can change the front and rear angles separately on the driver's side, but otherwise it's the same. And again, my model, I only have minimal lumbar adjustment in and out. Coming around to the back, we have a very similar door design. It's soft touch plastic up top with harder plastics towards the bottom. We come to the back seat and you'll see like a suede center that's not ventilated. You have your typical latch or ISOFIX connectors at the bottom, and then similar treatment on the seats. If we come to the back center console, we have seat heater control, high power USB-C ports, and the same vents as we have up front that we can rotate. And then if we swing around to the back here, we have a cup holder that folds out from there. We have our typical ceiling lighting up here that can be controlled from the rear seat with the door open as just always on. Around back, you'll find that we have a power hatch on my RS model anyway. It's an optional feature. And it opens to a 26 cubic foot storage area. And the seats also fold 40-60 and have 2 different recline levels. So that's one recline level, or you can press and pull it and have a second recline level. And it's actually a significant difference, but we'll fold them in. There are top tethers for each seat position there. Under the floor here, we have a hatch that lifts up and reveals a fairly spacious compartment here. We have like tools like air compressor, tire repair kit, and a tow bar. And underneath here, you can see a pretty deep compartment here. It's about 10 inches deep. So that adds quite a bit of storage space. One feature a lot of EV owners are interested in is the front trunk. Well, and does this have a front trunk, you might ask? No, it does not. My 2024 has this all covered up with these plastic shields that look kind of pretty but don't really do anything because there's no front trunk. So there's absolutely zero need for these plastic shields. All that's under here is like the battery and the electronics. I'll pull the cover up so you can see. And you see, you'll just find the battery and other power electronics, your AC compressor, and nothing interesting. So unfortunately, there is no front trunk. I think that's kind of a miss on GM's part, but honestly, it's not something I use a lot. So one of the questions you might ask with all the different EVs on the market is, why did I buy the Blazer EV? And I bought it because it's an incredibly spacious vehicle. I'm 6'1" tall, and the front driver's seat is adjusted for me right now. And I still have over 6 inches of knee room between the front seat and my knees. And this is just a huge amount of space. It has a flat floor that you can just slide right across on, and it makes it a great overall vehicle combined with its 279 mile EPA range in my trim. And that's actually a reasonable range estimate. Like, I can easily get over 200 on the highway And I actually have no trouble matching that EPA rating if I drive in kind of an EPA way, meaning, you know, kind of a mix of speed and slower, high speed and lower speeds. So this is the main reason I bought it. You get a mid-size SUV with a huge amount of interior space and a nice overall package. People don't look at it and go, is that an EV? I've actually never had anyone mistake this as an EV. So even at a Tesla Supercharger, I had someone ask me if it was an all-electric vehicle while I was there charging. You have space to install rear-facing child seats and be well clear of the front seat. And it also seats 3 across fairly comfortably. So it's pretty roomy. There's still room beside me if I'm sitting in the middle. And it creates a great value for a mid-size class vehicle. Getting the EV out on the road, I wanted to show you a little bit of how it drives and some of the basic features that it has. It has your basic safety suite that includes rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring system, adaptive cruise control, and a lane departure warning system and assistance there. What it does not have is it does not have a lane keeping assistance. Like, it won't just drive you down the center of the lanes. However, if you start drifting out of the lane, it should nudge you back over there, and it buzzed my seat and bounced me back over towards this lane, but it doesn't center in the lanes. And so it doesn't have like an autopilot feature unless you get Super Cruise, and GM Super Cruise is their advanced driving system. But the basic model does not have that in any of the trim lines except for the SS. So I have the RS model, and that has the basic system standard, as does the LT model. And overall, though, we'll get into the driving. How does it drive? And it has a decent amount of power, but not a lot. So if I slow down here and accelerate, it's not going to win any races, but it's not slow either. 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. If you want fast, get the SS model. That'll do 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. So this one doesn't have that. We have pretty good road noise isolation. You'll hear some wind noise in here, but you have pretty good isolation from the expansion joints, and overall cabin noise is comfortable. You can hold a conversation in here at speed, but it's not going to win any awards. It's better than my Model 3, but not as good as, you know, a luxury vehicle or something. But overall, it's pretty quiet. And handling wise, it handles like an SUV. It has quite a bit of ground clearance, giving it utility in snow and dirt, but it's not a sports car. And so you get the body roll when you make sharp turns. But overall, it handles very safely. It has one pedal driving, so all I do is let off the accelerator and the car will come to a complete stop pretty abruptly. So it's best to modulate how much you press on the pedal. So if to slow down for a stop sign, just let off slightly. Don't let all the way off like I just did there. Now, if you don't like that feature, thankfully GM lets you turn that on and off. So you can turn it from setting of high, which is what I use, to low, which is more reasonable, and then off if you want it to drive like a gas car. So overall though, the Blazer EV drives really nice. There's nothing wrong with it that I've noticed. Here I'll get up to a little bit of speed to show you that the cabin noise isn't too bad, but there is some wind noise you'll hear. And road noise is moderate, and So with any car, you should kind of get a feel for what you want out of it and buy something that fits that. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details on the test drive of the Blazer EV. You really need to get in the seat and drive one if you want to find it out how it fits for you. But it's a good family SUV with a reasonable highway range and just a good overall package. Watch some of my other videos if you want to get more details on each of those, like how it charges. But get in the seat and test drive one if you're going to buy one, so that you can see if it'll work for you or not, because not everyone has the same desires and what they want out of a vehicle. This one works well for me. Wrapping up the review on my 2024 Blazer EV, I just want to say that I'm still happy with my purchase 4 months and 8,000 miles later, and it's been a great vehicle for my family, offering plenty of interior space and a great all-electric range. Now with the opening of NACS superchargers, I have many locations to charge it that support the current rate that the Blazer EV needs. My only complaints with it are the charge rate could be a little faster, especially after 15 or 20 minutes on the charger when it starts to slow down. And it could have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but the alternative that GM went with is acceptable for me, where I just use my Google account on Android Automotive and it feels like it's a separate tablet or similar. So that works for me, but it may not work for you. So it's good to be aware of. Overall, happy with the purchase, and I would buy another one again, although I might look for that SS model personally to have that extra performance. But overall, great family vehicle.